All right, so I don't know if you know, but recently Lyles has been in the news just from the overall Olympics and his events, but also he's had some beef with NBA Twitter, and it stemmed over this clip right here.
The thing that hurts me the most is that I have to watch the NBA Finals, and they have world champion on their head. World champion of what? The United States? Don't get me wrong. I love the U.S. at times, but that ain't the world. That is not the world. We are the world.
All right, so
world champions what?
basically off of that, a lot of people got really upset, and I think we're at the point now where, quite frankly, comprehension is just not where it should be.
Okay.
So a lot of people were saying how that's not true. The NBA can call themselves world champions because we have the best players in the world. What do you think about that before I get into my opinion?
I'm 50-50 on it because the NBA is the best league in the world. So that's not a question. There's not a single league that exists that's touching the NBA. The best NBA teams are shitting on any team you put together in the world. So that's just the case. But on the Olympic level, things get close. America doesn't win every single basketball world
title
in the Olympics. So it's not necessarily. There's an argument that the world is a little broader, but I'm not mad at NBA trying to downplay the NBA is kind of lame in my opinion. Like, we know it's the greatest, but you know,
I think contextually, it was more like, why do we consider this the world title when you guys do not, as NBA players in this specific league, go up against the entire world? I understand the argument that we that we house the best players in the world. However, you can easily argue economics in that point. Like, we just generate the most revenue because we are able to generate the most revenue.
The best European players all play in America, though, in the NBA.
Because of what I just said, though. Because let's use Jokic is probably the best case example of a nigga that does not want to be here. That is here.
He would not be here if he didn't. If they could pay him NBA money to be in Serbia, he would not be. Who's not stepping foot
exactly.
in America.
So to that point, it's like a lot of people are coming here because we are able to pay them generational wealth. A lot of these, I think China's the only one that's close enough to do that, where NBA players go over there to play because they can make a sustainable living. They're not going anywhere else outside of Patrick fucking Beverly that decided to go to Israel. But how often are you hearing that? It's more economics than we're the best, we're the champion, like a world thing. It's just simply financial. But in the literal sense, he literally means that there is something that exists for you to take that title, and you lost. Like, Germany won that title to be able to call themselves the world champions, the FIBA world champions.
Over last summer.
They took that title over us. And it is very clear that we cannot just send any old motherfuckers to play, because we just did that and they lost. We had to assemble the best fucking team, unless you consider the 96 Dream Team the best team, to go win fucking gold. Like, that's not, we don't just send out anybody to do that shit. We send out the top players that we have to go do that. So to his point, in the literal sense, we're not the world champions. But I'm not mad at the argument that people look at it and say, well, we have the best players, we're the world.
Yeah, it's interesting because, like,
it's nuance.
Yeah, it's very different because when you look at FIBA and Olympic teams, they don't play together. They don't practice often. They're together for like 2 weeks and then they go right into the tournament. Every FIBA teams and the Olympic team, the Olympic team was training for maybe like a month.
Hours?
Yeah, even
hours, together, but I think the other teams, for the most part, outside of any U.S.-based player,
even the European teams and all that, they're not playing together all the time. Like, Germany's got like 3 NBA players on their team.
I know, but I'm saying most of them, outside of the ones that have to come back to America to play NBA, They're playing together for a while because
No, I mean the roster itself.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, they don't have chemistry as a roster. So you go up and play, anyone could win at the end of the day. Like no matter how good your players are, if you don't have good chemistry and you're not like,
I would argue they have
balanced.
more chemistry though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But if you don't have like the best chemistry, you just put you slapping a team together and you're like, all right, 2 weeks here's a tournament. You know, you're not necessarily getting the most out of each player. So anyone could win. So it's really an interesting dynamic. When you look at the Olympics too, the U.S. You know, Serbia put up a fight. Serbia almost beat the U.S. That was close. They were up 15 at the half.
I was like, oh shit.
It was a close game. The last couple of minutes they started. Steph Curry had to go crazy. You know, everyone started going crazy. I'm like, all right, now it's a game. But anyone could win those games. So it's really up to grabs.
Yeah.
But there's no doubting the level of competition the NBA players face is not only significantly the best. They're facing the best level of competition.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you know, it's
so if you want to argue it from
that
perspective of, well, all the world's best have to come here, so yeah, we are the center of the world, then yeah, but you're not a world champion. Yeah. Like the Boston Celtics are not world champions, they're the NBA champions. Yeah. Now I'm a little
North America champions or whatever.
Yeah, just say champions. I think what more people got upset was because I don't even think we say that anymore.
Yeah, most people just say NBA.
Yeah, it's NBA, the Boston Celtics are the NBA champions. Yeah, whatever. But that stemmed a months long journey of just built up hate that everybody needed to watch.
Noah Lyles became the enemy number one of the NBA.
Exactly.
The hate flowing in.
I think there might have been a spike in the Olympics during the
flowing in. Motherfuckers is watching the Olympics just to hate on him. You're imagine your own country is plotting on your downfall. You're representing your country, and everyone's plotting on your. All NBA fans are plotting. I heard the U.S. team was even at the game. Loki hated, just like, you motherfucker, you better get first. You better get first.
Got it. To his credit, the 100-meter dash, he won, and that is the most important event. That is where we decide the fastest. It's not the 200, it's not the 400. The 100 meters where we decide the fastest man in the world. And he delivered. Gold. Now, before I get into the next clip, that did create more fucking discourse because, again, people just don't know the context of things. People were like, how is he the fastest man in the world when, one, Usain Bolt holds a world and Olympic record for the 100-meter dash, and he also didn't run the fastest time this year. The reason being is because the title is granted twice. You get it once at the World Champions, which he won, which granted him the title of fastest man in the world. That's when it gets decided, and then it gets backed up at the Olympics. That's why if you listen to it in the announcements, they said Noah Lyles is the undisputed fastest man in the world. It is not given based solely on time. Like you can run an 11.5 at this track meet, but if you didn't do it at where they decide that, it doesn't matter. It's like getting 100 on a mock test and then getting a 45 on the actual test. It's like, who gives a fuck?
I do it when it matters most.
Yeah. There was two people that ran his personal best, not only at the Olympic, in his heat in the Olympic trials, but then they did it at the Jamaican national trials where one of the guys, Thompson, ran like a 12. I'm sorry, not a 12. My bad. But whatever his time was, it was better than. Yeah, it was like a 9.71. Yeah, 9.71. Sorry. But when it came down to the final gold medal match, he did not do that. Noah Lyles had the better time by 0.005 seconds, granting him now the title.
Skin of his teeth.
Skin of his nipple. Yeah. By a nipple.
Yeah. So you ever say if the Jamaican dude lifted his head up, he would have got it. He would have lifted his chest up, whatever.
It's about technique. That's when technique really matters, and Noah Lyles did the technique better than him. Yep. And that's how he got it. But a lot of people are arguing that doesn't make you the fastest man, not realizing that that's what the track and field industry and people of his peers have decided that's what that title is. Not one of his peers have questioned that and said, no, he's not.
Bro, you won the Olympics. You got a gold in the Olympics. I don't care. You ran this record outside Olympics. Good for you. I did it in the Olympics. That's all that fucking matters.
If he had broken the world record randomly, he would be the fastest man alive because he literally broke the world record. But he would not be considered the fastest man in the world because he did not do it at a title event.
You got to do it when the stakes are at the highest.
Exactly. Sha'Carri Richardson was considered the fastest woman in the world when she won. She just lost. That title is gone. Same with the Italian. When he won the Olympics 4 years ago, he was the fastest man in the world. That title got stripped when he took it.
Yeah.
It's that simple. You guys are overthinking it. It's like the best player in the in the league that wins MVP. That doesn't mean they're fucking better than LeBron all time. They're just the best player in the league today.
Say something though. He shut his haters up. Ain't nothing. He got the gold. You shut your haters up. Like, listen, you can't talk shit. He got the gold. There's videos of him at the club with the gold medal on.
Yeah, that's more because he had COVID.
Dabbling in some milk.
He did try to. This nigga.
He ran it with COVID.
That was nasty. He did try to clean it up and try to like further explain what he meant when he meant fastest man in the world.
Last one. You are the world's fastest man. Can you explain to the people why that is the proper term to call you world's fastest man?
Because I hold the title of the Olympics. You have the world record. That's the fastest man alive. I hold the title of world's fastest man.
So that's really just him explaining why he gets to hold that title of fastest man. Now, obviously, people still don't like him. I think more because he's a generally an obnoxious person. I didn't feel that way, but recently an article came out that kind of validated the NBA/track beef. There's a specific section. It just says, so what happened was Noah Lyles is in negotiations with Adidas for a new contract, but they wanted to invite him to a shoe event for Anthony Edwards. Within that, they quote him saying, "You want me to do what?" Lyles said. "You want to invite me to an event for a man who's not even been to an NBA Finals in a sport that you don't even care about. Are you giving him a shoe? No disrespect. The man is an amazing athlete. He's having a heck of a year. I love that they saw the insight to give him a shoe because they saw what he has, that he was going to be big. All I'm asking is, how could you not see that for me?" Now, one last point, he did clarify.
He walked that shit back immediately.
Yeah, he did clarify that is not the case. He definitely deserves his shoe. He's an amazing player. The problem was finding time based on my prior engagements. Congratulations on becoming an Olympic champion.
Hold up, wait a minute. I like how this statement, he's acting like he got misquoted, but bro, you got directly quoted earlier with the most hated comments I ever heard.
It had nothing to do with your schedule.
And you was like, "Oh, nah, bro. That's like calling someone a bitch and be like, yo, you wanna go to club with me later?" You're like, "Nah, you a bitch." And I'm like, what the fuck is that? Then you're like, nah, bro. I got prior engagements. Like, yo, wait, what?
No, you called me a bitch.
Like,
that's
no,
what it was.
I can't disregard the first part.
Yeah.
It's wild.
I think the tough reality, if we're reacting off the original quote, is that Noah Lyles has to face is that the NBA is significantly larger in terms of what people will buy versus track and field. And keep in mind, I think he got the most lucrative contract from Adidas since Usain Bolt. That should tell you a lot, like on where you stack up in the shoe department. We're not talking about in terms of which sport is the biggest. The NBA gets talked about more. The NBA is 82 games around the year. It gets talked about so much more than track and field, at least from a U.S. perspective.
And when it comes to shoes specifically, it's more of like a fashion culture thing. Like basketball shoes just start fashion culture, and no one's like, "Yeah, I got the Noah Lyles on." Yeah, I got the Lyles ones on. Like,
I disagree on that.
It's possible. I'm not saying the marketing and branding can't be there.
Yeah, I think it can.
It just hasn't historically.
I think his sneaker, Anthony Edwards' sneaker is a basketball sneaker. You can actually hoop in that sneaker.
Exactly.
You're gonna have to now make a track sneaker, and the problem is that we don't talk about track and field that much from a U.S. perspective. So it's like, how am I supposed to take this product and market this successfully? I think there's a way, but they're probably looking at it like it's not even worth the return on investment. And I get what he's saying. It's like, hey, I did all of this. I'm the fucking world champion. I had to do all of this to even get paid, motherfucker. Because they don't get paid like that. I think they get, from a US, I think they get paid like $30K.
Yeah.
They win. It's not much because, we have so many people that can win gold. We can't, so not that much money to go around. But even a regular world champion event, I think it was like $50K. So he's like, bro, like I have to win the world championship to get fucking paid.
Yeah.
And you're just giving a guy a shoe and he hasn't won shit yet, like that will piss you off. But that's fucking life. Some niggas is gonna get some shit.
Learn how to dribble. I don't know, you tell me like, damn.
Learn how to dribble.
Hey, man.
But the reality is some niggas is gonna get some shit in life that you not gonna get. It happens. You're gonna have to work twice, 3 times, 4 times as hard to get some fucking shit that someone else got by doing half the work. It's life. You can either bitch about it, which I think this shit was corny to bring him into it, or take that shit to the chin and work harder and figure it the fuck out.
Yeah, it doesn't help that his personality is kind of
He's just
awful,
nerdy.
too.
He's just nerdy.
And
That's all.
Well, he's like arrogant too. He's like a nerdy arrogant, which is like a weird combo. I
Yeah.
don't think people like that combo.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But hey,
World
let us know
champions of what?
let us know what you guys think in the comments, man. Is what Noah Lyles said about being a world champion right? And how do you feel about what he said about Anthony Edwards? All right, guys, thank you.